more you consume, the more you are. So things are tricky with today's ideology. But why talk about communism? Good reasons. First reason. There are, it is, I think, absolutely clear, more and more clear signs that there is a whole series of problems. I've listed them in my books. I don't have to go into them now. Ecology, biogenetics, the problem of intellectual property, the horror called Bologna reform, the change of higher education into a factory producing experts. That's their ideal. Their ideal is, as a French minister explained to me in a debate, cars are burning in the suburb of Paris, he told me. Now we need you intellectuals. Psychologists tell us how to control the crowds, urbanists how to plan the cities. So this is their ideal. We should become experts solving the problems the way they are defined by those in power. No, that's it. If you worry about European legacy, this is the end of Europe. The first thing of a true intellectual is, yes, 2 minutes, yes, but in a non-linear sense. The first thing about true intellectual life is to question the very way the problem is posed. So, okay, I'm not going to read just quickly the final points. Then we have the problem of so-called Asian capitalism. Our definitely not an ally, Peter Sloterdijk, nonetheless said something wonderful once. He said that if you can imagine a person to whom 100 years from now they will be building monuments, it will probably Lee Kuan Yew, you know, Singapore, the inventor of authoritarian capitalism. And that's what's happening today. Let's give to the devil what belongs to the devil. Up to a certain point, capitalism did need, more or less, democracy. I claim this is the true danger today. That marriage is dissolving today. We are now getting capitalist, that's the true bad news. We are now getting capitalist societies, even more dynamic, productive, destructive than our Western, who function perfectly without democracy. So what to do here? We have these all movements, I agree, Egypt, Spain, Greece, and so on and so on. But now, just to conclude, a little bit more serious thing I want to say. My God, you know what's the problem for me? Here I share your goals, but when you try to operationalize them, like, you know, I don't like so much that big moment, Tahrir Square, we were all crying, solidarity. What interests me is the day after. You know that Gramsci, and here I hope we agree, remember where Gramsci was publishing his text before he was arrested? In a journal called Il Nuovo Ordine, the New Order. Tragically, years after, this phrase was totally hegemonized by the right wing. If you say today, New Order, we know where you stand. Maybe the time is for the left to regain this. The problem is the day after. The true fight is going on now in Egypt. Friends are telling me horrible, you know, when you read in the news new clashes between Coptic Christians and Muslims, friends whom I totally trust, who are not some crazy Marxists like us, good liberals, are telling me everybody knows there. This is done by Mubarak agents again and again. The terrible fight is going now to contain, to steer what went on in Egypt. This is the true struggle, not just the big things officially happening and so on and so on. Or even in Spain. Today, or a couple of days ago, I read the program that they made, this democracy now, real democracy now. But you know, here I see a problem. Okay, we want beyond capitalism. What does it concretely mean? You know, capitalism is, as you pointed out, good, not just a system privatizing commons, it's also a network of social relations. And as it was clear to Marx, as such, it also organizes production. What alternative modes do we have here? This is what makes me sad. For example, if you read the manifesto of the Spanish striking workers, what you find there is solidarity, right to work, blah, blah, blah. Now, just to provoke you, I will tell you something terrifying. I read all their points. I claim every honest fascist would subscribe all of them. Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying they are fascists. Absolutely, they have a potential. But, my God, we have to attack this boring problems of how to organize it, alternative modes of organization and so on. What can we really offer? Because we have to offer something. Terrible things are awaiting us. Are you aware that probably humanity will have to do horrible things like maybe even geoengineering, changing the whole atmosphere and so on? Who, how will decide all this? Biogenetics, who, how will decide all this? Now we will say this is impossible. Just to conclude. You know, when somebody says impossible, I get nervous. Because did you notice how in today's media the phrase possible, impossible functions in two totally different modes. When you speak about technology and sexuality, everything is almost becoming possible. We can be astronauts through genetic manipulation, we will be, so they tell, able to live eternally, even sexuality. I was in New York, I met a surgeon, you know what his specialty? Cutting men's penis into two. So you can do it with two women at the same time. That's possible. All is possible. But to give 0.5% more for healthcare is not possible because it will ruin our competitivity and so on and so on. So we live in a very strange society where ideology, everyday ideology, decides what appears as possible, what appears as impossible. And typically, in China 3 weeks ago, they passed a weird law, but I find it almost sympathetic. At least they still need a law. It's funny. The law, it's not a joke, I checked it with my friends. The law says that it's prohibited in the public space of movies, TV, novels, and comics, and all stories which refer to or use time travel and alternate reality. The official justification is history is serious, we cannot play stupid games with history. The truth is they want to prohibit imagining alternate reality. I'm not making fun of Chinese, but of us. Obviously, till now, the censorship is so strong that we didn't even need this prohibition. Common sense told us, no, we cannot, we would become uncompetitive and so on and so on. And that's maybe the first lesson of us theoreticians. No, we will unfortunately probably not give you concrete formulas what to do, but we can do something which is maybe even more important. We can, as it were, clear up the background, make all of us see how change is possible, because maybe there will be no change. In that case, I'm telling you, we will all be living in a world, in a world somewhere between Singapore and Berlusconi's Italy. I don't know how it is with you, I don't want to live in such a world. Thank you very much.